So I'm just out here doing my practice round at Southern Dunes. I'm off the first tee already. I was a little crowded, so I didn't want to do anything. But just gonna go through a couple of shots, really see some greens, kind of test out what I'm gonna be doing off of the tee. I'm gonna keep the camera rolling and maybe do some voiceover after the fact, talk about what I'm focusing on and really what I'm gonna be trying to do and keep my mind focused for the tournament tomorrow. So we're on the second tee. It's a really short par four. I'm gonna go ahead and go through a couple different club selections and see what works best for me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kenny from the future. It was really windy out here, so I'm just going to talk you through what I'm doing on the course. It's a relatively short par four. I knew a 200-yard shot would be able to get me right into the fairway and have a short iron in or a wedge in. The wind is just howling off of the right, so I'm just making sure that if the wind picks up on the day of the tournament, I've got a pretty good strategy for what I'm going to hit off of the tee. And then I grab the 5-wood to hit a little bit of extra club to see if I could just squeeze out some more distance. Unfortunately, I forgot that my 5-wood doesn't fade, it draws, and it went directly left into the sandy bushes over there. I was able to find the ball, but I think I forgot that my 5-wood draws and doesn't fade. So, got to remember that for the tournament.
Now, I remember from this green, everything slopes towards those bunkers, so it cannot be short. We're 131 into wind, so it's probably playing about 135, 136. I think I'm going to hit a nice little 137 shot. So I'm going to choke down on this 9. Just take it straight at the center. This wind is howling.
And I know this course can sometimes pick up with the wind, so I'm just dropping a few balls here and there and trying to hit some different knockdown shots, some three-quarter swings, just to try to get a feel for, how much I have to add or take off as a result of the wind. And in this case, that 9-iron was absolutely perfect.
Yep, it was definitely a 9-iron, just short on the green.
And as I get up here to the green, all I'm really looking for is, the areas where I can miss, areas where I can bail out. I'm looking at, marking my yardage book, my decade yardage book with my targets. I'm just trying to figure it out. I think I'm going to roll a putt here just to kind of see what the greens are doing and just see what it feels like to roll a putt in. And then as I'm looking around the green, obviously this little short collection area here, it's an area I'm marking in my yardage book with my decade modifiers. If you're not familiar with the decade system, check out my other video on that. But I'm just looking at the areas where I want to miss the ball and areas where I don't want to miss, where, I can take some time and there's no score, there's no pressure. I'm just looking at the hole objectively from a standpoint of, hey, if I'm going to hit a ball on this green, where would I want to chip it from? Where would I not want to chip it from? And I'm just adjusting the numbers and the targets in my yardage book accordingly. So the par 5 on the next hole is one that I just wanted to take a little bit of extra time to figure out because it's a really tough tee shot. There's a very long bunker that runs left, and there's some really rough area OB right that if you hit on the tee, which I did in this case with the 3-wood, can really cause some trouble. So what I ended up doing is hitting 5-wood just to see if I could draw it off of that bunker, and it ended up ending in the long bunker left instead of drawing off of the one right. And at this point, I'm just going to grab my hybrid to see what happens if we just lay this ball up completely short of all the trouble, and just give myself a couple different options to have on the day of the tournament depending on what the wind is doing.
So I didn't factor into the wind because my 4 hybrid was carrying to this bunker, and I had it about 240, 235 to the front edge. So that's actually not too shabby that landed there. But my other ball did exactly what it did in the last tournament because that wind is normally off to left, and I play a fade, and it hit off of the cart path, which is this area right over here, and it kicked up so high, and it went over here. And I remember this happening last time.
So rather than deal with that, I decided to take a 5-wood off of the tee just in case I ended up in this bunker, which brought it into play. It's going to be a 3-shot hole. I didn't have enough to get home in 2, so I dropped the ball in the bunker and hit a couple shots out of here because I wanted to get familiarized with the sand and be familiar with the situation since I'm going to hit a shot that brings this bunker into play.
Caught it a little heavy, but that'll still work.
And as I'm getting up here to my layup shot, I realize even with a halfway decent tee shot and a pitching wedge out of that bunker, I'm still going to have 100 or so yards in. I could probably hit a 9-iron and squeeze it up a little bit further, which I would definitely be an option. But this area here is pretty comfortable in my yardage range, so I'm just practicing a couple wedge shots from this, 100 to 80, 90 yard area, because this is an area where I'm probably going to end up having to hit my approach shot come the tournament. And fortunately for me, I got the wind correct, and I hit a really good wedge shot into here. And I was just striking the ball really well that day.
I am striking the ball so good today. Committing to my number and just really hitting some good wedge shots inside of 10 feet, something we can convert. I'm going to go ahead and drop the ball in a couple of places that I might want to miss, since the only place to really miss on this green is over there to the right. And I'm going to make some putts, make some chips.
So at this point, this is a par 5. I like to spend a lot of time on the par 5s because these are scoring opportunities, Par 5s for my skill and my flight group, like they're going to be areas where you could possibly make birdie and, beat the field in some strokes. So I'm just hitting some putts from all over the green. I'm dropping some chips in areas where I might be able to bail out if I decide to take this flag on in 2, and just getting really comfortable with what it's going to be like to get up and down for a birdie should I find myself in that position on this green come tournament day. So I don't do this on every green, but definitely on par 5s, I really like to spend a lot of extra time getting a good feel for how the green is going to play and where my chipping areas are going to be.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going
The next holes that I work on are really long par 3s. This one happens to be a 215-yard par 3. So this is an area where I'm not really expecting to hit the green. So I'm going to spend a lot of time around this green hitting chips to different areas that I think the flag is going to be in. And here I'm doing exactly that. I'm going to hit some chips from this collection area if I happen to bail on it, and just see what it's like to get up and down from a lot of different areas where I might actually be come tournament day. A 200+ yard shot, for someone of my skill level, still can be a little bit intimidating on a par 3. Like it's a small target, it's a very long shot in, so I just want to get really comfortable and find the areas that I want to miss, and just put some good mental memories and some good feelings in my mind about what happened the day before.
I really do recommend sometime that everybody gets out and plays a course without thinking about score, just dropping a few balls, really trying to practice, because just noticing a lot of things that I don't normally notice when I'm playing, and I'm trying to get a visual for where the pin's going to be. And obviously every green is going to have some of these where you can see where the pins are favorited by the greenskeeper, right? I'm willing to bet the pin's going to be over here on Sunday, and if it is, I found this nice little collection area down here that I could easily land it into off of the tee over that bunker and just take it over that tree line. I know it looks a little dangerous, but this is easily 30-40 yards of stuff to land into, and a nice little 60 right onto this hill here will get me within about 8 feet of the flag if it is over here on Sunday. So working with Kurt, I've just started to become more attentive and more visually aware of focusing out on the golf course and trying to be a little bit more aware and mindful of what I'm trying to do and what I'm looking for when I'm out here trying to shoot scores, and not necessarily worry about swing, worry about all these other things that sometimes can cloud our minds. All right, that is the final one because I am getting tired, and I think my practice round might be done, but I'm gonna go hit a couple more balls. I'm striking it pretty well today. I don't want to overstress myself. I got a 9 a.m. tee time and a 45-minute drive back over here to the middle of nowhere. So, cow-infested desert. All right, see you back at the studio.
biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know